Today we're looking at ancient Egyptian religious beliefs. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer World History. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. Also, don't forget to check out dailybellringer.com where you'll find more resources that go with many of the Bellringer videos. Ancient Egyptian religion was a complex and important part of Egyptian society and culture that spanned over 2,500 years, from around 3100 BC to 332 BC. Religion played a central role in the lives of the ancient Egyptians, influencing every part of their lives, from daily rituals, the construction of monuments, planting and harvesting of crops, and especially customs and rituals related to death. Ancient Egyptian religion was polytheistic, meaning they believed in many different gods and goddesses. Each of these gods were associated with specific aspects of life and nature. These deities, or gods, were depicted in various human or animal forms, and their characteristics and roles were well defined. Some of the most prominent or important Egyptian deities included Ra, the sun god, who was considered the creator of the universe and the chief deity. Osiris was the god of the underworld and was associated with death and the afterlife. Isis, who was Osiris's wife and sister, was the goddess associated with magic and motherhood. These gods, among many others, had a rich mythology, or stories and traditions that describe their actions and lives. The Egyptians had stories of creation, of conflicts between gods, and the adventures of these deities and heroes. The myth of Osiris and Isis, for example, narrated the murder of Osiris by his brother Seth and his resurrection by Isis, symbolizing the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Ancient Egyptian religion very much emphasized the cycle of nature and life and death. They saw the universe as an ordered and harmonious system that mirrored the Nile River's annual flooding and receding, symbolizing death and rebirth. This belief influenced their views on the afterlife, as they believed that death was a transition rather than a final end. Religious rituals were a fundamental part of Egyptian life. Temples were the primary centers of worship and were dedicated to specific gods. The priests and priestesses played essential roles in conducting rituals, caring for the gods' statues, and maintaining the temples. Offerings of food, drink, and incense were presented to the gods to ensure their favor and blessings. The Egyptian calendar was intertwined with religious events, including festivals, ceremonies, and other events celebrating agricultural cycles and important divine occasions. Notable among these was the Opet festival, dedicated to the god Amun, and the Feast of the Valley, where the pharaoh honored his ancestors. As mentioned before, the ancient Egyptians had a complex and elaborate belief in the afterlife. They believed that life on earth was a preparation for the eternal journey after death. The soul, or Ka, was believed to leave the body at death and continue to exist in the afterlife. To ensure a successful transition, the deceased went under a mummification process, or a process of preserving the body. This was done to ensure that the Ka, or spirit, could recognize their body in the afterlife. Additionally, their possessions were buried with them to use on their journey after death. The Book of the Dead, they believed, provided instructions and spells to guide the deceased through the dangerous journey in the afterlife. The weighing of the heart ceremony, where the heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Mahat, the goddess of truth and justice. This weighing of the heart determined one's fate in the afterlife. A heavy heart indicated a life filled with wrongdoings, while a balanced heart led to eternal reward. Ancient Egyptian religion underwent changes throughout its long history. While some core beliefs remained constant, the importance of certain gods and the emphasis on particular rituals evolved over time. Early in the New Kingdom period, the god Amun, or sometimes referred to as Amun-Ra, rose in prominence to become basically the chief god of the Egyptians. Amun was depicted as a man with the head of a ram, or sometimes simply as a ram. He would grow to be considered the god over all the other gods. Later during the New Kingdom, there was a rise of monotheism, which is a belief in one god, during the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten. The sun god Aten was viewed as the sole deity. However, this was a very short-lived movement from their polytheistic tradition, as shortly after Akhenaten's death, Egyptians returned to their former religious practices. The influence of ancient Egyptian religion also extended into politics and served to legitimize the authority of the pharaohs, who often were considered divine rulers or gods themselves. Art and architecture, such as construction of monumental temples and pyramids, were also expressions of religious devotion. Religious beliefs guided Egyptian rulers in establishing various laws and established a moral code or sense of right and wrong within the Egyptian society. Ancient Egyptian religion was a multifaceted and enduring aspect of Egyptian culture. Today, the remnants of this ancient faith continues to captivate the imagination of people around the world, offering a glimpse into the profound spiritual beliefs of one of history's most remarkable civilizations. So, with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.